Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students. Welcome back to the class, and we'll continue the ideas we were discussing yesterday. So once again, reading for ideas. There are many questions, many areas which need further explanation. And for example, please, I told you yesterday, in all, you have to identify 12 content points. Many students ask this question that what if they write more than 12? For example, 14, 15, maybe maximum 16. Okay. The simple answer is that the examiner will look for the correct answers. If they add up to 12, you get 12. Okay. But if you make a few errors, for example, you make 14 points and 2 of them are wrong, even then you will get full marks, 12 marks. But please, as I gave you one worksheet which was marked by the examiner, the content points identified. So you might have seen that the candidate, that particular candidate, is very, very focused, very skilled, and he has not taken out, or you may say lifted, the whole chunks of the passage. Please do remember that when you are writing content points, do not lift sentences or maybe whole chunks of the passage, because there is not enough space. Firstly, there is not enough space to write so much. And if you do this, you will make a mess of your work, and the examiner will be in great trouble to award you the mark. And one of the examiners has advised the candidates, for example, he says that it is not the examiner's duty to find the answer. You have to find the answer. It is not his duty. So please read the question carefully and follow the directions as the examiner says. Then another thing, many students ask this question: what if they disturb the order of the points? Simple answer is you should not disturb the order of the points. Why? Because when you'll come to writing the summary, you will make the whole summary illogically linked. So please do not make this mistake. Do not disturb the arrangement sequence of your content points. Okay? Because when you have to write the summary after making the content points, you will only be looking at the content points which you have collected or identified. Then please, another question which is also very important regarding making or identifying the point in the wrong box. For example, this is your paper. These are advantages and these are disadvantages. Okay? Sometimes what happens, some candidates, some students, they write the content point of first box in the second box, and vice versa. Please, this is a huge blunder. Please do not ever do this, because such a point will be crossed out. You will lose very precious marks. Okay? Then please, when we come to summary writing, you have to be very, very careful, because this part of the question carries a huge portion of the marks, 10 marks. Very, very crucial. And many students lose their marks in this part of the paper just because they are careless. Please do not write your summary carelessly, plan your summary, and it has, now what are the qualities of a good summary, or what is the criteria in front of the examiner to mark your summary? I have written it. He will be looking for the points you make, they are relevant. Okay, for example, the content points you have identified, you are talking about the same content points. Okay, and you already know that in content points, you do not generally use details and examples. You will be just focusing on ideas. Okay, then please, it has to be relevant, organized, that one idea is linked to the other. Okay, and the third is easy to read, easy to follow, or easy to read. That your ideas are logically, methodically linked with one another, and you follow the same sequence as you identified the content points. Okay, but very often what happens, students make many serious mistakes. One thing, please, once you have identified the content points, do not look at the passage again. When you are writing the summary, do not go back to the passage again, because in this way, there will be a lot of confusion and you will make your summary a mess of confused ideas. And do not make this mistake. Then, when you are writing the summary, just look at the content points you have identified. Okay, another point, please. This is also very often, frequently, this is also a question. What if we do not use all the content points in the summary? The simple answer is that you have to write 150 to 180 words. And it is advised that try to write up to at least 160, 170 words. Okay? And what will happen? For example, you only use 10 of your content points in your summary. The examiner says, when marking the summary, he will not count the points you have used. But there is a problem. For example, if you do not use all the points, or at least 10 or 11, you will be missing out some very important ideas in your summary. In this way, you will be punishing yourself. So please, whatever points you have identified and written in your answer sheet, please focus on them and try to link them logically, methodically, and fluently. One idea should follow the other. Okay? Then please, the examiner also says that link your ideas naturally. And how can we use our ideas naturally? Of course, he advises to use transition words. By transition words, there are lots and lots of transition words. I'll be writing some for you here. But before, transition means when there is a shift in the sequence or ideas you are writing. For example, you are mentioning something, you are talking about one thing, and then you want to say that there are other situations. So naturally, when we want to talk about something different, we use some expressions like however, nevertheless, on the other hand, etc. Okay, but please, the first very, very serious mistake made by many students is to begin their story carelessly. For example, the words that the writer has given, that the examiner has given, initial 10 words, they should continue naturally. And some of the students, they even do not bother that when they begin their summary of the given passage, whether the first sentence is grammatically correct or not, whether the idea is continuing or not. So please be very careful. When you write the first sentence or you complete the first sentence, you have to be very careful to link or to continue the sentence correctly. And you might have seen that the initial 10 words given for your guidance, they do not end with a full stop. It means the sentence has to be completed. Therefore, please begin your first sentence very carefully. Okay, then we are coming to some transition words. There are so many. So the first one, if you want to indicate order of the ideas, so you can use word like first, second, etc. Or you can also use next, finally, etc. And if you want to introduce an opposite idea, generally what happens when the second part of the summary begins or the passage begins, there is a transition. The writer or the examiner uses words like actually, there are scores of words which can be used, and I am just writing a few of them. Then if you want to add something or you want to reinforce something, you can use another words like Actually, students, there are lots and lots of them, and I think I'll be wasting time if I go into detail. But one thing that is very important, please do not overdo transition words. Okay, not every other sentence should begin with the transition words. For example, however, moreover, in addition, instead of that, etc. No. For example, you have to see the flow of your summary. If it is going, if it is going on naturally, fluently, smoothly, there is no need to add a shift or use a transition words. And another very important point, the question says, using your own words as far as possible. Please listen. If you do not make any effort to change the wording of the text, you cannot get good grade or good marks. So when you are writing the summary, you look at the content points and try to rephrase them in your own expression, in your own words. Change the words which need to be changed. Sometimes what happens, there are sometimes many words which are difficult to replace. And in such a case, do not waste time, use the word and carry on. But when you are writing the summary, you have to be very careful about language slips, because when the examiner will mark your summary, he or she will look for each and every mistake. In other part of the paper, for example, when you are answering the questions or when you are writing the content points, etc., there is no penalty for making minor mistakes in spelling or something, punctuation, etc. But a summary has to be a compact piece of writing, and the examiner will mark each and every mistake that is made by the candidate. And for your help, I have uploaded a summary written by a Cambridge candidate and marked by the examiner along with comments. Please go through it. Read it very carefully why the examiner awarded this candidate 9 marks out of 10. And there is also possibility you may get full marks. But you have to do serious work. But please, before I continue my further explanations, I would once again request you, please do some serious work. It is a golden opportunity for all of you. Try to ask as many questions as possible. I'll provide you all the material you need through your email. This is a golden opportunity provided by the management, and you can write anything, even though you have missed the first assignment. For example, not many of you wrote the first assignment, creative writing, but you can make another choice. You can write it and send it to me during the Eid holidays. I'll check it and return it back to you the same day with comments. And if you find it difficult, for example, you do not know what type of mistakes you make, I can underline each and every mistake. This says, once again, I have to say that this is a golden opportunity. As I said yesterday, that a diversity provides great advantages. So this is a great advantage for all of us. And please do some serious work and submit it. Then please, yesterday we sent you an assignment, a worksheet about fact and opinion. And this is very, you may say, sad that many students, even very brilliant students, they sometimes make mistakes in identifying the opinion. In the new syllabus, this part of the question, opinions, this carries 3 marks, very important marks, and you should not lose them. Now listen, please. Now, please, the first thing about an opinion is that it is a statement which is subjective. And by subjective, we mean personal viewpoint. Now, please listen. Any statement, any comment that is subjective, personal, is an opinion. Okay? And an opinion can be biased, prejudiced, and you may say one-sided. Okay? So the first point about an opinion is that it is something subjective. Okay? Then the second thing is, second guideline can be, it generally uses modal verbs. So you can write it on your notes. So when you are looking for opinion in the passage, according to the question, so please mark or watch out for such words: should, would, could, might. Okay? Then another indicator of an opinion is strong wording. Or you may say it uses so any expression that uses strong wording like ever, never, always, best, worst. So that indicates that the statement is one-sided. It is an opinion. Okay? So please do look for such words. Okay? For example, best, worst, ever, never, always. So an opinion will be using such expressions, such words. Okay. Please listen. One very clear difference between a fact and an opinion. What is a fact? A fact is a statement that can be proved with evidence. In order to say that something is a fact, you can give the support of evidence. Okay? For example, if somebody says that China is the largest country in the world in population, so there is evidence. Okay? You can put forward the evidence. Okay? But if any statement cannot be proved, okay, then it is an opinion. And generally, when somebody is giving an opinion, it does not take into consideration the exceptions. It does not take into consideration the exceptions. For example, all the commonly believed ideas in our culture, in our society, they are generally opinions. Such and such restaurant provides the best food in the city. So such expressions will be opinion. Now, please, another thing which is surely the most important point in order to identify an opinion. This can be very useful for all of you. Look for value words, any expression that uses adjectives. By value words, we mean adjectives. Any expression that uses adjectives will be an opinion. Okay? But please, once again, what happens when an opinion is stated? Whenever somebody makes a sweeping statement, you may say a categorical statement, so that is an opinion. For example, there are so many people who make sweeping statements. For example, all the people working here are, all the Pakistanis are, all the Indians are. So such statements are always opinions. Okay? Please listen. I have sent you a worksheet about fact and opinion. Please read it carefully. For example, there will be some sentences where you have to take help from some other source. But please do it very carefully before you come to the passages which will be sent to you today. I am sending you a complete paper, paper 2, 2018, October-November paper. Please attempt it very carefully and send it to me so that I can check it and give you the comments. Now, please. But please, one very important thing, you must ask questions which are in your mind. And even if when we have our session of questions, even if you are not able to think about a question later on when you sit back for your regular study and you come across a difficult point. Please do not hesitate. Please do not hesitate and write the question to me. I'll be very pleased to answer you the questions. Thank you very much, please.